Right, watcher, welcome back to Delboy's Garage. This is part 2 of Project Triumph, the decibel test. All I want to do today is a very simple, quick thing, is do a proper, bona fide, recorded decibel test that the current exhaust is making, the standard factory exhaust. For a couple of reasons, really. I'm interested, I'm curious to know what it's doing, and I'm sure a few other people are too. They aren't as quiet as you think. They're quite crackly and thumpy from behind. But they just don't make enough noise in general, and they're kind of almost drowned out with the engine. I'm going to set the test up as scientifically as I can, and that means when I do the further tests on the open pipes later on, then I'll set it up exactly the same way so we'll get an accurate reading. They should be set up, I'll show you in a minute, I'll show you, don't worry about that. The point is, I want to just get a start point so that for the rest of the project, it's not going to be a long project this, by the way, it's just going to be, I'm going to make these adapters. Let me show you. When you buy these pipes, you get these adapters, which they're just kind of spacer rings. They've got this groove baby cut in them, and the idea is that you can shove that in the gap to kind of space out when the silencer is too big for the downpipe. And all I'm going to do with these, this may not work, but I'm going to try, I'll come back to this in a minute, a bit more detail, but I'm wondering whether I can put that into the bike, because that's 35mm, which will fit the header, and that's the size of the pipe. So if I can weld that into one piece, I need an expander pipe to sort of translate one to the other so that I can fit them, but also it needs to have a curve in it so I can cut and slice this and bend it and make it and da-da-da. Don't know. It's been galvanized. May not even be able to weld on it. May not work. Don't know. All to become clear when I get to it. I'll stick the MIG on it, and if it all just pings everywhere, then I'll have to go and buy some tubing. But for the moment, I'm going to play with those later on, but not before a proper halfway scientific decibel test. So let's get stuck into that, set the machinery up, and I'll show you how it works. Right, now this is the average decibel meter. I bought this from Maplin's. It's just a miscellaneous Chinese one. The actual microphone is a little tiny thing, or a little tiny thing in the end there that does the job, and it has a sponge bob on the top just to keep the wind rush or any noise out, any ambient blowing noise, so you get a proper reading. To switch them on, now that you can read, let's just put it on maximum. Right, so that's going up, and that's just me talking. 72. Quite good fun. You can't see it there. There you go. You can make, obviously that's holding it at the maximum, so even talking is louder than banging on the bench. It's good fun bit of toy to play with. Loads of different settings on it and get involved, but ultimately all I'm going to do is test how many decibels it's making, and that's just speech in a closed room. 78 decibels. It's a weird science, I don't know anything about it really, but anyway, I do know that with the pipes there and the meter set here, now the idea is you set the decibel meter up 1 meter away from the pipes at a 45-degree angle, so 1 meter behind them, 1 meter to the side, and draw a line in the middle, so you get it 1 meter 45 degrees from the source of the sound and roughly at the same level, and they are literally exactly the same level as the bottom pipe, so that's pretty good where it is. And all I've got to do is get it warmed up so it's on tick over. I want to do a tick over test first, then a test at where are we? I'm going to do a test about 3000 revs, which is kind of cruising in top gear at about 70, and then we'll do a maximum test to see what we're getting. And I've got to open the doors up because obviously it's a closed room, and I don't want to choke. So let's get it warmed up first of all, and then we can see where we're going. Right, let's warm the old girl up. Leave that to warm up for about 2 minutes. So it'll tick over on its own. Not yet. Right, tick over test. 1100 revs, 1000 revs roughly, is 70. Increases when I talk because it's making a difference. So right, we'll set. So the tick over fluctuates. Right, when it goes to 74, that's me talking. Shut up a minute. So it's between 69 and 70 on tick over. Free 70, 3.8. Finally, we'll do a maximum test, maximum revs. That's what it makes. Right, there we go. Switch it off. Okay, so there we are. Just held it at 3000, gave us 83.8, and then right round to 7000, which gave us 95.6. Okay, so let's just record those settings, and we take the exhaust silencers off. Right. Take all the heat shieldage off first. I reckon there's probably about 20 kilos of steel. It's just in this, which is good because it ain't going back on. It's still a bit warm. Ouch. Yep, hooked on. There we are. These just cleverly push on to a little doodah. Got these lovely fully circular straps which I shall reuse. Brilliant. One of those lovely slip fit joints, but that, that could be full of liquid and it would be lighter. Christ, that's heavy. Jesus. Right, this other one. Typical exhaust bolts, tight as a gnat's chuff. Nice. Christ, I'm going to weigh them. I'm just going to weigh them and find out what they weigh. Right, so here we are. That's all the heat shielding, all that. That's all the steel work. Shouldn't really put them on the front, should I? Scratch them. So there's the two silencers. These are mad. That if you pick that up, the way I can describe it is it feels like it's full of water or something. It is so heavy. Let's actually see how heavy they are. Right, let's just set this up. Hang on. Just weigh them up. There's one. That one's oddly heavier. It's probably got a cat in it. Right. There we go. Now that weighs. Oh, Jesus. That weighs just over a stone. It's 8 kilos. Down on that. You can see that. That's a stone in weight. And there's 10 kilos there. So what we got? 8. Just under 8 kilos. Settling on 7.5. There we are. Exactly. So that lot weighs. Back out. That lot weighs 7.5 kilos. And you know what we've got to do now? Is weigh the new ones. That is 1.5. 1.5 kilos, as opposed to, what is that? That's going to be 3 as opposed to 7.5. So we're saving 4.5 kilos, which is a fat lump of weight. Right, so there we are. Not very scientific, but nonetheless a reading. Figures. We are roughly 70. It was kind of tick over. You can't really set at one because it fluctuates as it goes along. And as you saw, even while you're talking, it will measure more. Purely because that's the way sound dynamics works. I don't know. Anyway, it was 70 decibels at idle, 83.8 at 3000, I think, remember, and 95.6, which is pretty good. I thought it'd be about 93, and that was at 7,000 revs, just before the red line at 8. So we've got 83, 95. I'm hoping to keep. What I want to try and do, if I can, what I'm hoping is that the 3000 rev reading won't increase much. It will probably go up to the 95, and then the flat out reading will be the one that's offensive, so that if you do end up getting followed by a police car or getting checked, your normal riding around isn't too offensive. It's only when you've got it wide open, which of course is great, but you don't have to do that all the time, so you can keep it quiet when you want to. Anyway, there we are. There's the readings. Made a note, and I'm just gonna pack all this up now because I've got to get it uploaded. This is just it for now. That's it. And look at that weight issue. Oh my god, 7.5 kilos they are together, and 3 kilos combined for the two silencers are going on. It'll be a tiny bit more for the baffles, but not much. This little tube, they won't weigh much more than the heat shields. So we're looking at perhaps 3.5 for the lot against 7.5. So we've saved 4 kilos in weight. Doesn't sound like much, but 4 kilos is a fair amount of weight. It's 8.5 pounds or more. That's quite a lot. It's half, was it nearly half a stone in weight that we're actually saving off the back. And you can feel that when you're throwing it round in bends and you're flinging it from lock to lock. You kind of feels like you've got a top box on it, which would be a daft thing to do. You know, you can feel that weight behind you. So anyway, that's enough of that. Pipes are off. Cat can now see the rabbit. I've got to. Idea is I'm going to try and make these into one piece and then curve and cut. It may not work, like I said, but that's the next project. So there we are. Thanks for watching this bit. Appreciate that. That's number 2. Going to get this uploaded, and I'll see you for the next one probably tomorrow. Ride safe. See you next time.